Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday to you all. For our welcoming hymn, we'll be singing Sing and Rejoice, hymn number 395. We'll be singing this as a round, so together we'll sing it twice, and then we'll sing it as a round, starting on the right side and then on the left side. You may rise in mind, body, or spirit and join us in singing.
Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, let all things living now sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, let all things living now sing and rejoice, 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 let all things living now sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, let all things living now sing and rejoice. That was good for the first time. Yeah, good morning. You may be seated. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation here in Fullerton, California, an inclusive community dedicated to building a better world. My name is Reverend Robert Blair. My pronouns are he, him. We are so glad that you are here. We are so glad for the air conditioning in here as well. We want to let you know, whoever you are, however you identify, whoever you love, you are safe here. You are welcome here. You are not called to fit in, you simply belong. We've got our backpacks here for our students, and we will give a blessing during a time for all ages that's coming up. Got a couple announcements for you. This is an important one. UUCF is establishing a land and labor acknowledgement task force on how we can support the indigenous-led initiatives to live into a new solidarity with indigenous communities. We will research the indigenous history of our area, build relationships with local tribes, and learn what needs indigenous communities have so we can put into practice our Unitarian Universalist values. If you are interested, please contact Natalie Cruz and she will give you all the information about that. Of course, we've seen the news of the devastation in Colombia due to the earthquake there. Of course, there have been major earthquakes around the world over the last couple of weeks. We will receive a Share the Plate offering today that will help aid in providing medical services, supplies, and medicine to the Colombian medical community. So share the plate today for Colombia and surrounding countries who are going through really difficult times right now. We want to introduce to you someone who is going to help you get involved even more, and this has to do with literacy. Jay Williams is the founder and president of OC United and is passionate about encouraging children to read. He is promoting the Pages and Pals program for seniors to read with first and second graders in the Fullerton School District. So we welcome Mr. J to the podium.
Well, good morning. It is a privilege to be here and to share about this program. We just, at the end of the school year, I had 14, most of them were retired teachers, and we started this, we beta tested this program just to see what it would look like and kind of see what we could learn, and we had a great time reading with first and second graders. We were at Maple Elementary School. We're going to start another 10-week session in September, on September the 11th, and I would love to invite as many of you who are interested to consider joining us. I know one of your members here was a part of that beta test group as well, so we would love to have you. I don't know how much you know about the importance of these young kids of learning to read, but the stories are if you're not reading by the age of 9, then it becomes a predictor of a lot of really difficult things in a young child's life. So we want to be there to provide hope and encouragement and support for these early readers. It's not an intervention program. It is just helping to create a love for reading. Basically, grades 1 to 3, you're learning to read. And 4 and on, the rest of our life, it's read to learn, right? So this is a critical time, and I'd love to have as many of you as able to join us. It was a beautiful program. These kids loved the one-on-one attention. Basically, it'll be an hour at 12:30 to 1:30, and you will have 2 students that you'll read with. And you'll have 30 minutes with each one of them. We'll support you with books, and the rest of the time, you just get to have fun teaching them and help them spread a love for reading. So I'll be out in the lobby there. I'd love to talk with as many of you who are interested. All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
For more information on these and other happenings, you can look at our special email that comes out on Fridays, or go to our brand new website. It is gorgeous if you haven't been there. UUCF. What is it? What is it? UUFullerton.org. Obviously very easy to remember. Today, our caring listener is Jean Laub. You can speak with Jean after the service if you have any concerns or would simply like someone to talk to, listen, and trust. What you share is always confidential. We'll be sharing joys and sorrows a little bit later in the service, or if you're in the sanctuary, you'd like to share, even if it's anonymous, and we will light a candle for you. The slips are in the back. They are pink. Just fill those out so that we can send love and light for you. You have up until the time for all ages to do so. Those of you online, we encourage you to get those in as soon as possible. And now, 1 to 2 minutes to say hello to your neighbors. As we make our way back to our chairs, please, you don't have to sit down because you're going to just get right back up. We'll be singing our hymn of the month. This is We Belong to One Another. Please rise in mind, body, or spirit to sing.
We belong to one another.
I now invite Shelby to light the chalice. We whose journeys are always beginning light this chalice in the spirit of community and a sense of purpose in our ministry. Let this journey be one of love, authenticity, and reverence. Let it shape our lives, our work, and our days as an expression of joy and love and our commitment to service and to each other. Please join me in saying our unison affirmation on the screen. This flame affirms the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. Love is the doctrine that we share, the quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, thus do we covenant with one another.
Alrighty, thanks for your patience, everybody. It's time for all ages. The children are now invited to come forward for a time for all ages. As they do, we ask them to pick up and collect the donations of non-perishable items for Pathways of Hope, our local food bank, which has been placed at the end of each row. And now the children are invited to come all the way forward for a time for all ages.
Hello, everybody. It is a joy to be here, but I am not Joy. Joy has taken a day off, and she may be around here somewhere, but a day off from Time for All Ages. If you do have your backpacks, how many of you brought your backpacks? Oh, good, okay. I see some, Hello Kitty. Is that your backpack? That is a good, glittery looking backpack. That is going to be hard to lose. We also want to bless all parents who have their bags full of everything. So today, I want to talk to you all about our core value of love and what that looks like in the classroom and in school. We'll go with love first, and then we're going to go with another word called justice. What do you think love looks like when you're in a class? Not romantic love. You need to wait until you're after college and get your master's program, and then maybe think about dating. We're talking about loving one another and being kind. What does that look like? Yes, Amy?
Being a friend with someone who just moved to the school.
Being a friend with someone who is new, right? And we've all been new somewhere. Like you've been new here, right? It's very nerve-wracking to come into a new place. Not here. That's good. I'm so glad that you feel that way because that means that we are working in our values to love one another. Anybody else have an idea? Yes, Annie.
When someone's new, you should greet them with a smile.
Greet them with a smile. You know, if we can just do that with someone, it can make their day, right? So loving one another means being kind, being welcome. If someone is sitting in the cafeteria by themselves, maybe sitting by them and showing them that they matter and that they're important because we all want to feel like we're valued and we belong. The next one is justice. Big word. What does justice mean and what can we do for others? Yeah.
Justice is like
That would be justice. We hope that there's no bad guys at school. But you know what? Sometimes there can be some bullying going on. And if you see bullying, what can we do? What would be a justice-oriented way to do that in love? Rose?
You can tell them to stop, but like nicely. And if they don't, then you can just tell a teacher.
That's right. Ask for help and let people know this is not okay. We don't treat each other like that, right? We see on the news there are enough bullies right now on the news and in Washington. So we know that we don't want to emulate that, and we want to break that cycle. And you all are doing that with your kindness. Anya, you said?
So justice might be like if someone's trying to say that that toy's mine and it's actually yours and they just snatch it out of your hand, that is not justice.
Okay, so sharing our toys and making sure we're respecting people's boundaries, that's a good one. Yeah, Zayn.
If there's someone that's evil, you can say like, that's not okay, and tell them like that's not nice and you're hurting their feelings.
Okay. We don't really believe anyone's evil, but they can do really evil things, right? And so we say, that's not okay. And we always get an adult to help. Well, thank you all for this. Before we go, I wrote a little lesson, as Dolly Parton would say, for your backpacks. So just visualize them, or you've got yours. We bless these bags and all who carry them. May our young people carry more than books, lunches, pencils, and homework. May they carry curiosity into their classrooms, kindness in your friendships, courage when something is unfair, and the deep knowledge that you are worthy of love exactly how you are. And we bless the bags of the adults who carry schedules and snacks and permission slips and worries, along with so many hopes for the children they love. And computers and backaches. True. Give them patience for the chaotic mornings, caffeine to get them through the day, grace when things don't go as planned, and the wisdom to know that they don't have to carry everything perfectly. May these backpacks remind us love is something that we carry into the world, and justice is something we practice once we get there. We bless you, and we bless those who care for you, and we bless the year ahead. Amen, and blessed be. And now, you can go towards religious exploration and enjoy. Blessings on a new year.
Go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to greet a bright new day. Learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way. Go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to greet a bright new day. Learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way.
We could all do a podcast with just them. It would just be amazing. Everyone would listen to it. It is now time for our joys and sorrows. We begin by lighting a candle for all the concerns, the many, many concerns for our larger world, for our troops who need hope and support, our wish for peace and justice, our hopes for our kids who are amazing and are going to inherit this really complicated and complex world. May this candle represent all the wishes and calls to action that are really more than we can articulate. And now the personal joys and sorrows in our lives. This is a sorrow and concern from Anonymous. Please light a candle for all those struggling with mental health and substance use disorders. May they find peace May they find their families in divine peace in healing. From the Nettleships, we celebrated our 60th anniversary on Friday with a trip to Santa Barbara. Glorious! Congratulations! Hey, Will, that's the diamond anniversary. Hey, Lois, that's the diamond anniversary. Congratulations. From Joe and Lilia Queen, a joy, our daughter Cassie will be going off to college in a week to DePaul University in Chicago. Please provide well wishes to her as she embarks on her new adventure in a new city. Chicago's great. New friends and enjoying her new passion of acting. Congratulations and best wishes to you. You'll be taking more than a backpack. This one is a sorrow from Anonymous. I've been struggling with anxiety after a tumultuous yet brief relationship. Last night I dreamt of a relapse. I feel like I'll never recover fully sometimes. To that person, you are loved and honored, and you belong here. Please reach out for help, and we'll let you know there's no judgment here. And we hope that you continue on your healing journey. We also have another sorrow and concern from an anonymous person. This person's daughter was arrested over the weekend. It has been a very painful weekend for her and setting boundaries with her daughter. So we light one more candle in sending her love and light. We now light one more candle for all those joys, concerns, and sorrows that remain unexpressed but are still held close to our hearts. And now please join me in saying our unison affirmation. We join you in celebrating your joys. May you feel our love and compassion for your sorrows and concerns, for all that is spoken and unspoken. May the caring of our beloved community sustain us all.
For our next hymn, we'll be singing 298, Wake Now My Senses. You may rise in mind, body, or spirit, and join us in singing.
Be seated.
Let us move into the spirit of meditation, reflection, and prayer. You may close your eyes, take a deep breath, whatever helps you find your center. A Prayer for New Beginnings by Lori Stewart. In the spirit of community and a sense of purpose in our ministry, let us commence the discovery of our strengths, our concerns, our grief, and our joy. Let this journey be one of love, authenticity, and reverence. Let us shape our lives, our work, our days as an expression of that joy, that love, and our commitment to service and to each other. Let us now share in a moment of silence. We are so lucky to have you, Christine. Thank you. Right. If we believe in the promise of our faith, we must continue to push forward. Ideology sparks movements, but relationships are what change organizations and sustain movements. We must place value on our relationships and that need to not leave folks behind in our quest for our own transformation. We are a small but mighty religious community. We are people who are not bound by creed, but instead are bound by principles, values, and a covenant with a need for intellectual rigor combined with spiritual depth and humanistic love. Everything comes back to our congregations and covenanted communities. That is where the faith starts and ends. We must embody the changes we wish to see, and not just say that we believe and we need changes. We must actually live the changes with every fabric of our being. If we believe in the promise of our faith, we must continue pushing forward. And like Reverend Rob and his love of the Golden Girls, we can all lean in to the wisdom of the Brady Bunch. When it's time to change, you've got to rearrange who you are and what you want to be.
We'll continue with that. Back to life, back to reality. Back. Do you remember that song? Soul to Soul. So good. Well, back to school and back to reality. You know, there's something almost sacred about a brand new box of crayons. You open up that lid and every crayon with my OCD, it's perfect. My husband says I'm so OCD that the letters are in wrong order. It should be CDO. It's wrong. But there's something about the smell of the crayon box. They're perfectly pointed. The paper that you got is intact. The yellow in the crayon has not yet been contaminated by the blue. Nobody has snapped the red one in half. And for a few glorious moments, everything's perfect and everything seems possible. And then comes the backpack. At the beginning of the year, it's clean and organized, folders are straight, pencils are sharpened, the lunch hasn't leaked into the bottom yet, but give it 3 weeks. By October, there will be papers in there nobody remembers receiving, a granola bar reduced to gravel on the bottom, and perhaps one sock for reasons no one really understands. And when I mentioned blessing backpacks this year, a couple of moms asked me, can you bless my purse too? Absolutely. And dads. At this point in our lives, I think we may need to bless everything that we carry, internally and externally. Backpacks, purses, briefcases, grocery bags. Maybe some of us need to bring the entire trunk of the car, because the truth is, all of us are carrying something. Our students are returning to school carrying more than books. Some are worried about grades, friendships, their bodies, where they belong, who they are becoming, where their next meal will come from, and what kind of world they are inheriting. Parents are carrying their own questions and worries. Teachers are entering classrooms with responsibilities that extend far beyond lesson plans, spending their own money. Those of us whose school years are long behind us are carrying a lot too. We carry adult children that we still worry about. Those adult children worry about their aging parents. All of us aging, retirement questions, health concerns, grief, relationships that have changed, and then all of us are carrying the world. We are living through a time when it is possible to know about human suffering almost everywhere, almost instantly. The world is heavy. And sometimes the world is heavy at exactly the same moment that our own lives become heavy. That's when the backpack, that weight, spiritual or emotional backpack, we're going to call it that instead of baggage, becomes too much. So this morning, I want to ask a spiritual question that I think applies whether you are 9 or 90. What are you actually meant to carry? And what are you carrying that you need to throw on the ground? Psychologists tell us that when the nervous system becomes overwhelmed, our ability to think clearly and respond effectively goes kaput. One of the simplest interventions counselors use is grounding. Go back to your breath. Slow it. Notice the body. Scan it. Feel your feet against the floor. Pay attention of what is actually happening in the moment. Wiggle your toes. Stay in the present. In fact, the American Psychological Association recommends these kind of breathing and grounding practices because slowing the body can help reduce physiological arousal and bring us back into the present. That's their words. And this all sounds kind of modern through the APA, but it's also very ancient. There's wisdom there. For thousands of years, spiritual traditions have been telling us, return to the breath, return to the present. I'm going to go through Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, and humanism today. Buddhism offers one of my favorite teachings about suffering, often called the parable of the second arrow. The first arrow is what happens to us. Someone becomes ill, a relationship ends, you lose a job, and that arrow hurts. Then comes the second arrow. Your mind begins firing. What if this never gets better? What if something even worse happens? What if I can't handle this? I should be doing better. The first arrow is the pain life gives us. The second arrow is everything fear and shame and the ego mind adds to it. Buddhist wisdom does not promise that we can avoid the first arrow. Being alive means occasionally getting pierced. But we can learn not to keep shooting ourselves. Sometimes the spiritual practice is as simple as saying, this is difficult. This is hard, and staying there. Without turning difficulty into a prediction about the rest of our lives. Without deciding that today's fear means tomorrow's catastrophe. Without demanding that we solve everything right then and there. So in therapy, they call it grounding. Done a lot of grounding. A Buddhist might call it mindfulness, and maybe they are standing closer together than we realize. Then, we're going to go into the New Testament. Jesus and his disciples are crossing the Sea of Galilee. There's a huge storm. The waves are coming over the side of the boat, and the 12 men are angry, and Jesus is in the well of the boat asleep on a cushion. I love that detail. The world's ending to the disciples, and Jesus apparently has a pillow. The disciples wake him, freaking out. Don't you care that we're going to die? And eventually Jesus gets up, calms the storm. Now, for many Christians, the miracle is the calming of the sea, but I'm fascinated by what happens before the miracle. Jesus sleeps. Storm's real, danger's real, disciples are frightened, and somehow Jesus does not allow the storm outside the boat to become the storm inside him. Maybe that is part of a spiritual lesson. Can't calm every storm. El Nino is coming. Most of us are not going to stand on the shore and command the Pacific Ocean to settle down. But what does the story mean in it? We can practice learning how much of the storm we allow inside of us. And that may be one of the essential spiritual disciplines of our time, because sometimes I think we confuse being informed with being perpetually alarmed. We think carrying requires constant vigilance. If we put the phone down, perhaps we are abandoning the world and useful information, but there is no virtue in keeping your nervous system in a constant state of emergency. Jesus slept. You're allowed to sleep too. You're allowed to turn off the news, take a walk, touch grass. I'm talking about a lawn. I know we're in California. You're allowed to laugh, touch grass, with somebody you love while terrible things are happening somewhere else. Sometimes rest is how we become capable of returning to the world with something useful to offer. Now let's go to Judaism. Don't make me laugh. Jewish tradition gives us another word for this. Anyone? Shalom. We usually translate shalom as peace, but the Hebrew word carries so much more. Wholeness, completeness, well-being, spirit, breath, harmony. And that matters because peace is often misunderstood as the absence of difficulty. If everything is quiet, I have peace. If everybody I love is healthy, I have peace. If the country is stable, I have peace. Shalom suggests something deeper. Wholeness can exist even through circumstances that are unfinished. Peace can come and become something we practice inside a world that is still unsettled, and breath becomes our way home. You don't need any particular theology to do this. Right now, wherever you are, you're online, you're here in the sanctuary, just notice your breath. The cool of the air conditioning coming in, the warmth of it coming out. Just notice it. This breath does not solve an election that's coming up, doesn't end a war, but it returns us to a place, the only place from which we can actually respond to any of those things here and now. Counselors sometimes describe the present moment as a refuge from both the imagined future and the unchangeable past. Grounding practices often begin exactly where spiritual traditions have begun for centuries. Feet on the floor, awareness of your senses, breath returning to the body, and then comes the humanist voice for our humanists out there. Because some of us hear words like God or Jesus or Buddha and find meaning there, others don't. Humanism offers another path. It says meaning does not have to descend from somewhere outside humanity. We create meaning through the way we live, the way we care for one another, and what we choose to do with the life we actually have. Humanist traditions emphasize reason, compassion, human dignity, and our responsibility for the well-being of all. And that gives us another response to anxiety. When the world feels overwhelming, what can this human do? Not what can we fix, not how do we save the world. What's that first thing that we can do? Maybe call someone that is lonely. maybe volunteer. Of course, vote. Researchers who studied purpose have found that stress does not always have to erase meaning. Okay? Supportive relationships and a sense of purpose can help people understand difficulty as something they are moving through rather than merely something happening to them. And this is particularly important for our young people. They don't need adults telling them everything is fine. They know what's going on. They need adults who demonstrate what people do when everything is not going well. So we breathe with them. We tell the truth. We take action. We show an example, and we refuse to let fear become our whole identity. And that matters for those of us later in life as well. Because the backpack changes as we age and sometimes gets heavier as well. At 20, perhaps we're carrying questions about identity in the future. At 40, maybe carrying children and careers and parents simultaneously. At 60, 70, 80, 90, there are other things in the backpack. Bodies that don't work exactly as they once did. People whose chairs at the table are now empty. Questions about purpose, independence, mortality. This is a big one. Feeling like you're invisible to the world. There's no age at which we graduate from being human and stay alive. And there's no age at which we stop needing each other. And this ties together where our Unitarian Universalist value of interdependence stops being theology printed on a poster and becomes something that we do. Sometimes the most spiritually mature sentence available to all of us is, I need help carrying this. It's too heavy. And that's really difficult. Especially if we're raised to believe that strong people handle things on themselves, all on themselves. But none of the great spiritual traditions teach radical independence. Buddhist communities have the Sangha. Christianity speaks of the body of Christ. Jewish life is built around community. Humanism emphasizes our responsibility toward one another. This is all about doing this together. And Unitarian Universalism says our lives are bound together. We are energy. Where one of us lets off, the other one begins. The world is going to tell you you are separate and different. Our current administration is going to tell you that your neighbor is your enemy. It is a lie, and it is something that we reject wholly based on all of these different foundations. Which brings us back to the backpack. Perhaps the beginning of the school year can become an invitation for all of us to just throw it open and look inside and see what belongs there and do a little spring cleaning in the fall. What matters enough to keep carrying? What have you been hauling around for years simply because you've forgotten that you're allowed to put it down? Maybe it's somebody else's expectation. Maybe it's an old failure. Maybe it's soft boundaries that need to be hardened. When you put something down, you make room. Because you're going to need room for other things. Wasn't going to leave you in a rough patch. We need room for these other things like wonder and friendship and tasty Tuesdays and food afterwards and different activities during the week. We are a congregation that just doesn't do things on Sunday. We are a congregation interdependent with each other 7 days a week. So today we bless the backpacks of the kids and parents. Let's bless the metaphorical backpacks we have been dragging through this world. May they carry what matters. May they become lighter where they can. And when something becomes too heavy, may we remember that we are not alone. Maybe someone reaches over and says, "Give me that for a while. I'll carry it for you." Y'all, that's more than just kindness. It's shalom. It's sangha. It is humanism. It's beloved community. It is falling asleep and resting. Take care of yourself. That is Unitarian Universalism. Maybe peace finally is not waiting for the storm to disappear. Maybe peace is discovering that even through the storm we can breathe, we can find the floor beneath our feet, we can remember who we are, we can reach for one another, and then with a little less weight on our backpacks, we can take that next step, one step at a time, together. Amen.
Alrighty, by our financial commitment to UUCF, we help this congregation flourish and meet the needs of a challenging world. A basket is being brought around the sanctuary, and there are payment options on the screens. Whatever you are able to give is received with gratitude. We thank you for your commitment and your generosity.
I was just thinking about when we do a time for all ages, we sing two songs that are bookmarks, okay? We bring the kids in. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. And then we send them off with go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to meet a brand new day, learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way. We sing that every week, and sometimes when we sing that every week, it kind of, okay, we're gonna sing this again. It's a great song. Sometimes it's played a little too slow. But the meaning matters. Maybe this is a song that we sing to ourselves because we are all children of someone. We are all carrying heavy weight, internally, externally, from our lives and from the world. So I invite you, as we leave, with an invitation to go with wisdom, to be open to wonder, to know that a new day is coming, that there is a light within you, and that you are not alone as you go out these doors. I invite Shelby back up as we extinguish the chalice. We now extinguish it, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts wherever we may go. And so we say together, Amen, Shalom, Salam, Namaste, and blessed be. Remember, by the way, Jay Williams, founder and president of OC United, is getting our seniors signed up to read to the little kids. So he will be in the lobby to sign you up afterwards.
For our closing hymn, we'll be singing hymn number 1007, There's a River Flowing in My Soul. You may rise in mind, body, or spirit and join us in singing. Please join us for our food and fellowship. Thank you all so much.